I don't know why people think that I'm exaggerating when I say journaling will change your life. And I think it's because they assume that I'm this nerdy dude who is trying to prove something to them. But in reality, I have been journaling for 10 years and I can prove it to you and how it can change your life. Hi friends, my name is Mohamed and I'm a writer, and in this video I will be talking about what is journaling, what is the impact or benefits of journaling, and finally how to journal. And my hope is that for people who have thought about journaling, maybe you have doubted it or even found it silly, and maybe you started it for a while then abandoned it, this is a video for you so that you can realize and get to know why you are missing. So let's get started. What is journaling? Journaling is a type of writing. Obviously, you sit on a desk or on the floor and you just write on a paper. It can be a notebook, it can be just a paper from inside a notebook. It doesn't really matter. But I think it's a very specific type of writing. It's not like writing stories, fiction, or even non-fiction. And it's the purest form of writing because it doesn't have rules on the one hand, but it's also because you're not writing with an intention of meeting someone else's expectation. You are writing for yourself, about yourself, or the experiences that you have in the world. And that makes it different and special compared to any type of writing that you can do because it doesn't have a boundary and it's for you. And there are many types of journaling, and I've tried a few, but I feel like every time I research journaling or I meet someone, I discover a new type, and it's because it's this growing organism or growing art, if you want to call it that doesn't have limits. So you have gratitude journaling, you have bullet journaling, you have morning pages, you have free writing. But sometimes the assumption is that if you journal, then you're probably a writer, a poet, or someone who cares about books or in the literature world. But it is not true. Journaling as a form is not limited to those who write. In reality, journaling is for everyone because its benefits is not only to make you a better writer or a poet or to help you overcome a creative block. Its benefits surpasses that and even touches to the real world. So when I started journaling, for example, I used to write a lot about myself, about my experience as an immigrant in the US coming from Yemen. I used to write about my family, the struggles that I was going through at the time when I was late high school, early college. And for a very long time, journaling became like a friend to me. I would sit down, write, express my feelings, and I will feel like there was someone that was listening to me. But that was my own experience. Now, other people will use it to start their day. They will just, open a page on a notebook and list the things that they have to do. And I think, and I'm getting into the benefits now, are for one, an emotional sort of release. If you are distressed, people will tell you take a walk, spend time in nature, do something mindless, do yoga, meditate, and journaling provides that mental state for you because it gives you a break from stress or the depression that you are experiencing. Now, it has been proven that, for example, free writing, it has a positive impact in depression because it allows you to express your feelings to yourself, and it gives a window for your thoughts or the pressure that you are feeling to exit. Now, I'm not saying it's a light switch. If you are sad and you journal, you just automatically feel happy. It's not the case, but the more you do it, the more or the better relationship you develop with it, the more you will know when do you need it. So for me, I would journal, for example, if I'm distressed, but that's not the only reason I journal. If I have to, for example, make a very big decision, I would journal about the pros and cons. I will even free write about how I'm feeling in that state of mind and what will help me reach a better decision between the two options that I have. So I have different scenarios and I will get to those more later, but it gives sort of a way for the tension that you have, a door to exit or a window to escape, like I said earlier. And the second benefit is it helps you become self-aware. And one of the best things that I gain out of journaling is that self-awareness, because it sort of gives you the opportunity to see yourself in the mirror, but mentally. Is the mirror to your mental mind or your brain or whatever thoughts, psychology that is going on in your head. But you will have the opportunity to analyze yourself. If you're having a bad relationship with a loved one, you will able to critique what you have said, what you have done, and how it makes them feel. And the outside view gives you the opportunity to adjust yourself and make changes on the certain habits that you have that are bad, and also enhances the habits that you are enjoying or beneficial to you. And that in of itself, that continuous practice of writing about yourself in certain moments, in high tension moments, it will help you get to know yourself better. And that's one of the best ways to grow, because you will get to know yourself more and, you know, enhance the things that you like about yourself and stop the things that you do not like about yourself. Third benefit is that it helps with problem solving. And like I said earlier, it does gives you that bird's eye view perspective where you look at yourself from the outside, which allows you to look at the problem from different angles. Most of the time we are operating in this main character mode and we cannot see the other options that we have in our life or in the problem that we are trying to solve, and that can be problematic and limiting. But journaling gives you the outside perspective or the different angles that you can tackle the problem. And for me, there's a very clear difference when I deal with a problem in my head. If I, for example, I'm struggling with something at work, with coming up with ideas, or like I had a bad conversation with my boss, and if I just continue to think about it, I just continue to imagine the scenarios, the different conversations, the different meetings that I will have from now until the problem gets solved, and what I will say, what they will say, and you know, how witty I will become, and I will just prepare myself for war basically. And that I've never found that helpful for me. But when I journal, I actually talk or write about the problem itself. What did I do wrong? What could have I done better? What I will do next? And it works for me every single time. So these are the top 3 benefits that I found about journaling. Obviously there are a lot more, and maybe at this point you're imagining or you're deciding maybe I should start journaling. And if you want to give it a shot, this is how you should do it. First, choose your medium. Is it on paper or on the computer? Now for me, I write on paper all the time, and let me show you. Over the years, I have written this one more, and the one I'm writing right now is in my bag. Now for me, it's very basic. It's a Moleskine notebook, $10 to $15, and a pen, and that's it. No more, no less. I want it to be hardcover because I put it inside my bag and I take it out often, and if it is soft cover, then it wears out much quicker. So if it is a hardcover, it just lasts longer. That's one. Second, I don't go for very fancy notebooks. I just want a notebook that feels sort of special. I spend a little bit of money on it so that I can care about it. And on the other hand, I actually want to feel the paper smooth. Cheap notebooks have very horrible paper, and the way they glide on the pen is not as good. So, you know, a decent $10 to $15 notebook will do. If you want to do it on a, you know, your school notebook, you can. There is no issue about it. The other way to do it is to do it on the computer on a Word document. And to be honest, I don't have enough experience for me to comment on it or to give insight on just, you know, journaling on the computer. But I feel like there is something special about putting pen to paper. There is something special about it. It literally, for me, it put me in a different mental state. And yes, sometimes my hand will get tired, but just the act of writing on paper, it's just good. It's just better. I don't know. Now, in terms of how often should you journal, it does not matter. You can journal once a month, once a year. Now, that's not practical, or once you feel like you should. Now, in the beginning, I would recommend to journal as much as possible because it will give you the urgency to develop the habit. For me, I have a rule, is no more than 2 days it can go by without me journaling, even if it is a few lines, because I just want to keep that engine going. And sometimes I will literally just write 2 lines about, you know, today the weather was too hot or the weather was too nice. It will be something that doesn't matter, but it's because I want to keep that habit going and keep thinking about journaling, or keep the idea of journaling coming back to me when I need it. But if I don't journal for a very long time, even if I face a problem, even if I'm feeling distressed, even if I'm feeling depressed, I won't even think about journaling as an option because it's in the far back of my mind. I haven't been tapping it often enough for it to be one of the solutions that my brain will present to me. Now, someone like Tim Ferriss, who runs multiple businesses and he writes books and he runs a podcast, he does morning pages, and that's just 5 minutes with himself that he just write whatever is on his mind. There is a different type of journaling that I found very helpful during COVID, and it is these 5-minute journals. Now, this journal is very structured, so it will start with just 3 lines, and the question is, I'm grateful for, and then you list the things that you are grateful for. The second question is, what would make today great? And this becomes a task for you to accomplish. And daily affirmation, which is, you know, a nice thing that you say about yourself. Do they work? I believe they do. I've tried it during the lockdown during COVID, and it was amazing for me because it really got into my head, the sitting at home all day and working from home all day and going to school all day, and then there was no transition. It got to my head, and this helped a ton. After COVID, I honestly just transitioned back to my traditional style of just free writing on my Moleskine notebooks, and that's what I have been doing since. But in terms of routine, as much as possible, as many times as possible, as much as you need it. But at this point, you're probably, okay, I'm committed to this, but what should I write about? And what you should write about is about yourself. Now, sometimes you will have an intention to write, but you will have nothing to write about, and it's okay. Those days will come. They come to me as well, and in those days, just write about how you feel. And sometimes prompts will help. So for example, the prompt I just read, if you start with today I'm grateful for, and you can list as many things as possible. And for us who live, for example, in the United States or in Europe, we can literally list a million things that we are grateful for, and some things that we take for granted and overlook. Just the fact that we have running water, electricity at demand, hot water to take a shower. I mean, the list can go on, and you can spend hours just listing the things that you can be grateful for. But most of the time, honestly, I won't stick to any rules. Just sit down, pen on paper or on your computer, and just write whatever is keeping you awake, whatever is at the front of your mind, or whatever is making you feel down or even happy. Because journaling is also one of the ways you can record history. I mean, we look at our own pictures when we are kids, when we are 3, 4, or 5-year-old, and we find it amazing that we were this little kid. And journaling can have a similar effect. If you read the stuff that you are writing today, 5-10 years from now, you will be amazed at the person you used to be, the thoughts you had, the opinions that you had, because every day we are growing and changing from year to year. We are not the same people we were 10 years ago or 5 years ago, or even since last year. We are continuously evolving and changing and becoming the people that sometimes we didn't even expect to become. I hope I was convincing for you to start journaling, and I want nothing but for you to find benefit or value in the form of journaling, because I have, and I feel like anybody who have tried it and stuck to it until it becomes a habit, not tried it for a week or two, but do it until it becomes a habit, you will never stop. I couldn't stop, and there were periods in my life where I've stopped for a while, but I always find myself coming back to the page. In the meantime, happy journaling.